Man, AEW pissed me off last night. AEW pissed me off last night. Their go-home show for Full Gear was terrible. I tried to sleep on it. It's late the next day, and I'm still not over it. The ratings came out, and I'm not surprised. They didn't do very good. It was a terrible show for a pay-per-view that so many times felt so important. So many good stories were told and ended at Full Gear in years past. Then this year, I don't know what's going on, but I don't ever want to hate watch AEW. Okay? You guys know my motto. I'm a wrestling reactor streamer for the most part. And my whole thing is like, hey, listen, real life is hard, right? Wrestling should be fun, so we're gonna sit here and watch it for fun. I had 0 ounces of fun last night, and I want to talk about it. Before I get into all that, if you guys can do me a solid, and please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, share, subscribe. You know the deal. It really does help the channel. And you can also become a channel member by hitting the join button. But I really want to just get into it because the show starts with this like all-star tag match where they put together probably their storyline that does have a little bit of history behind it. But if you're not a person that watch, you know, the history between Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay all the way to this point, you do feel a little bit lost. Like I've been feeling lost. Like, who is this Mark Davis person? Where did he come from? Apparently, you guys let me know that he was part of the faction, but he's been injured and he was gone. So how is he an all-star? Anyway, I think that's the only story that feels like there's some essence behind it. We know Will Ospreay is gonna put on a good match. He's not physically capable of putting on a bad match. But do we feel invested into this match? The reason why I'm so frustrated is because I always really, really like Full Gear. I know everybody talks about All Out, everybody talks about Double or Nothing, but when you look at the history of Full Gears, which I did my research, because I went to 2 Full Gears. I've been to more Full Gears than probably any other pay-per-view that AEW produces. Because, listen, the first Full Gear ever, the main event, was Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley in an unsanctioned lights out match. And before that, we had a match for the AEW World Championship between Chris Jericho and Cody, which is when MJF turned on Cody. Like, it was insane, the storytelling that they would do at these things. The second one, which happened during the pandemic, still had an insane amount of really good matches. You had MJF versus Jericho, which I don't know if you guys remember, but it was really good. It was a really good story that they were telling. Moxley versus Kingston, I believe it was an I Quit match. That happened there. Darby versus Cody, and the Bucks versus FTR. That dream match that we were all waiting for. This is when FTR first came along, when it was still interesting and they hadn't done it a million times. The next one, I went to it. I traveled all the way to Minneapolis. Froze my ass off. You know why? Because I really wanted to see Hangman Adam Page become AEW World Champion, because they told that story for 2 freaking years. 2 freaking years they invested telling you the story of the anxious cowboy with the alcohol problem that didn't believe in himself. You knew he was finally going to get it done. The energy in the building was insane when Hangman Adam Page finally defeated Kenny Omega. Not that they went on to do much with his title reign, but that's a conversation for a whole different video, right? But on top of that, you had CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston, which also had a story that we were all invested in. You had MJF versus Darby. You had Bryanson, Danielson, Dragonson against Miro. This is, yeah, Miro. He still goes here, I think. I don't know. And the year after that, which was in Prudential Center, I went to that one as well, because that's when MJF finally became the AEW World Champ. This racing heel that it was cool to cheer him because we were cheering for him, finally defeated Moxley to become the AEW World Champ, and that felt like a moment. In addition to that, you had a great cage match between Jack Perry and Luchasaurus. You had the Acclaim at its peak. Everybody was like, oh, the Acclaim should have won the titles back then, but they still managed to save the day with the Acclaim at some point. Oh yeah, Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm. That's when Jamie Hayter finally became champ. And then 2023 Full Gear, MJF defeated Jay White in a match that we felt Jay White was just gonna shoot in, right? Still more serious than Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy at last year's Full Gear was actually wrestling Jon Moxley, and he defeated him. That's the main event this year. Except for they were fighting for a lower title in the card. I believe it was the International Championship. Yeah. MJF and Samoa Joe defeated the Guns. Listen. When the fucking Costco guy that I know nothing about, I haven't really been all up for this storyline, but I get what they're trying to do with it. I think it's harmless. I actually, not standing up for it, but I think this whole storyline is getting way more hate than what it needs to, because other companies will do something like this, bring somebody mainstream, bring somebody from TikTok, and they don't get as much criticism as this is getting. I think it's harmless. I think it's harmless. At first, I hated it. I hated the little video that QT Marshall did, but I'm not gonna fucking get all up on tweets and get all upset over something that they're trying to do to get better eyes in the product. But when you have the fucking Costco guy cutting a better promo than 90% of your roster, that's a problem. Orange Cassidy gets duct taped to himself and he starts throwing the weak kicks to this crazy fucking faction that's taking over the company and he's here to harm it. And Orange Cassidy is our savior that's gonna save us from them by throwing weak kicks while he's duct taped to himself. Is Will Ospreay okay? Because he was wearing more tape than me when I wear a low-cut dress. What else happened? Why is Adam Cole hepatitis yellow? And what happened to MJF? MJF used to be my favorite thing in the show. I have a Burberry scarf. I used to wear it every Wednesday. I don't even know where it is. I have no interest in wearing it anymore. And that bothers me because MJF was like my favorite thing in the show, and I don't know when it went wrong, but it went wrong. It went wrong because I'm not invested. I'm not invested in anything that he's doing. I just don't understand how you put on that show and expect me to turn off the TV when it ends and go, oh my God, I cannot wait to spend some money buying this pay-per-view on Saturday. I don't want to pay for it. I don't think they deserve my money. I'm sorry. I never do rant videos, but I needed to do a rant video. This because I feel like that is unacceptable. If the Go Home show is a selling pitch for a pay-per-view, you're not on a streaming service yet. People are not paying $6 a month for your pay-per-views. You actually have to try, and you're not trying. The Private Party did the boom backstage with the Costco guys. Who are they feuding with? They're tag team champs. The Young Bucks are gone. Mercedes Moné. I saw that botch spot from her and Chris Statlander all over my social media today, which is one of the matches that I was actually excited to see. So hopefully, I'm hoping that they clash a little bit better. I hope that the celebration of Mariah May turns into something. I hope we get some surprises. They gotta do something that's gonna make people go, oh shit, Full Gear was actually good. And I am tired of giving AEW the benefit of the doubt on their pay-per-views, where I go, well, their pay-per-views are good because they are. They deliver good matches on the pay-per-view. But this card is straight up ass. It feels phoned in. So I had to go on a rant. That's my rant. That show pissed me off. I think that if they feel like this is what we're going to put on and this is what we're going to use for the fans to spend their money, I feel it's borderline disrespectful to expect your people to go and spend $60 on this pay-per-view that you have coming up. You got to do better. And please get better tanning people. Let me know in the comments what you thought of last night's episode of AEW. Bye.